well here again at AES 2011 with Wes Dooley, who has released a 500 series version of their mic pre, which is just a fantastic solution for a variety of the typical problems and concerns you can encounter with ribbon microphones. And that's the high frequency and the low frequency rumble. Basically reintroducing high frequency to that part of the spectrum to get a little more air and sparkle out of the microphones. And again, low frequency rumble. And if Wes can tell us a little about it and actually run through some of the settings, you at home can hear just what that can do for you.
Hi, I'm Wes Dooley. This is one of my favorite microphones, an RCA Big Ribbon, a unidirectional as they called it, what we'd call supercardioid. It's running through an RPQ 500 preamp. The RPQ is a preamp with lots of gain, very clean and quiet, but also with the EQ that's most useful for people working with ribbon mics. And it's as good as it gets, and it brings you yet more. It's got the chance to do two things. One, since ribbon mics have proximity effect, any directional mic, and the figure 8 component of the directional mic is what brings you the proximity effect. When you start getting in here, you start getting more bass. Do I like that? Well, I did radio. Of course I like that. But sometimes the bass gets in the way of listening and having articulation. In an environment like this, we use low-cut filters, and right now I'm taking this one and gradually bringing it up. This is only a 20 dB shelf, 6 dB per octave, but I can tune it from its 3 dB down point of 360 hertz here. So there isn't much happening in the low bass. Or I can start moving it down. Now we're at about 85 for the 3 dB down point. We can move it all the way down to 18. And it has that little button that I find is so helpful when I'm tired, in and out immediately. Out. Now I'm talking to it with no proximity taming at all. Now I have a little bit of proximity tame dialed in. So I can make quick decisions about whether it's actually better or just different. And of course, the other thing that you have when you're working with a ribbon mic, because ribbons go out and then they roll for a long time smoothly. And we can get 30, 40 kilohertz out of a ribbon mic. And sometimes we like it just to have that natural smooth sound, and other times we want to boost it up. So it has a second button that allows you to adjust where the point is of inflection and what angle you have for the rise. And that's this one here. So we go all the way down to no flat response to, and we can move that point where it starts going up from very high down to very low. And we can just take it in and out to A-B it. And that EQ section turned out to be so popular in the RPQ that people started telling us that they'd put a pad in front of the mic pre here and they'd use it as a mix channel EQ or as a mastering EQ. So on the RPQ 500, what we've done is we have given you a mic line switch so that you could actually use it instead of one trick pony, at least a 2 trick pony, 3 trick ponies, if you consider that it's a really nice tracking preamp for both condensers and ribbons. You can call that 2 tricks, but that's what any good preamp should do, is be able to do both. And then you can just hit the mic line switch and come in at plus 30, and you can do EQ either in your mix or in your mastering. The high lift turns out to be really nice for that. We've had people tell us that on Decatrees, on air mics for the room, that high lift is really nice for just bringing back some air when you're back a ways. And of course, with the ribbon, since it has a long, smooth slope, you can make them anything from like our R84, R840, which is 5 dB down at 20 kilohertz. You can bring it so it's flat, plus or minus 1.5 dB, or you can bring it so it's up. So it's sparkly, but without the tiz that a tightly stretched drumhead type mic, the high-tuned condenser mics have. These are low-tuned mics, so that they really, at anything above a few hundred hertz, just move with the air and then they stop. It's the reason the percussionists, people who are doing finger picking, you can bring the mics right up and they just sound like your ears are there, not like, oh my, this is hi-fi. So that's the basics of it. It has a level control which allows you to fade completely out. So if you're using something like a purple with its left, center, right switching, you can actually just plug these in and use it for a field mixer in the stereo. We have the mic gain section, which you can bypass entirely with the instrumentation input. Polarity reverse. We have 48 volt phantom powering because it is for active ribbon mics and it is for condenser mics. And that's a quick run through on the new RPQ 500. Thank you very much for being here.